Okay. Is there anyone on YouTube?
There's 4.
Okay. Okay. Greetings, everyone, again. And as always, if you're on YouTube, you're welcome to join us. So we will do our usual practice during this time, and Harvey will join us about halfway through and lead that. I want, though, this time I want to, we'll do a little something different with the breath. As I said, a little bit of Tonglen. And before that, I just want to take a few minutes, and see if you have thoughts, comments, maybe a question. Yeah, Charlie.
I have a question. You mentioned that Rinpoche had said how special it is when we're singing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a retreat, maybe a couple of years ago, we were learning a new practice, probably the Dzogchen May retreat.
Uh-huh.
And maybe it was even a different tune than what we've been singing for our foundational practice. And you said, my memory is that you said we could read it without singing it. And at that time, I found it very powerful to just read the words that we were introduced to.
Well, it's good to note it. Go ahead.
I just wanted you to speak some more about singing or not singing.
Okay. I don't remember the specific context that you're referring to.
Yeah.
It's wonderful that you found that was powerful. You know, I don't know if maybe you were chanting it, which is also if it was chantable. I mean, this can also be chanted, which is rhythmic, which has some of the qualities of singing. So, and maybe I think I might have said that because sometimes it takes us a while to learn new melodies, and not wanting to wait for that to get some comfort with the material. Maybe that's why I said that. So these other ways, of course, also have power. Chanting is not always exactly singing, and it's very significant in the Tibetan traditions too. When Rinpoche said that, I think it was the first year he was here. And it was when I was encouraged by that, because I was just starting to translate things into chantable English, and a little bit, this is like a good thing to do, because you don't know as a translator, there's always a danger that you're trespassing your lane and you don't want to change things too much. But I just felt that way. And what Rinpoche specifically said, and I used to keep it in the back of the Ngondro book, I don't know if it's still there. He said, the way he said it was, he said, the blessings, the Tibetan word is chinlap, come in more easily when we sing. Now, in a Western way, we know there's all kinds of differences that neurologists will explain to us about the right brain and left brain. We know from Western science and that, for example, people who stutter don't stutter when they sing. There's something different that occurs. And there are those of you here who could say a lot more about this than I can. The Tibetan way of talking about this is, so chinlap, as you know, or you may remember, literally means something like waves of grace, waves of splendor. And we know that sound, the way we think of it, moves in waves. So when we're singing, there's something that occurs that makes us more receptive. I believe this is what Rinpoche was saying. This was his language for saying that when we sing, there's something that makes us more receptive to the power, the blessings, the energy, the impact of the practice that we're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anything else?
Lama, I am.
Hey, David.
Hi. I really appreciated your comments about the judgment and not judging ourselves. But I think what you expressed it was just to observe. There's anger. There's anger within me, or fear, or whatever, anxiety, whatever it may be. Um, I think I'm making some progress in some recognition of that, and being able to go along that path. But then I want to jump in and solve the problem and 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 get to the trigger of whatever triggered it. And it's like, okay, I recognize that, but that guy still shouldn't have said that.
Right.
How am I gonna make them stop that?
Right.
You know,
Right.
and maybe the answer is just let it go. I don't know. Uh, it depends on uh, the seriousness of it. If it's
Mm-hmm.
something that's so mundane or so minor that's just a little infraction on our ego, it's like
Mm-hmm.
let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, David. It's a tricky discrimination between letting it go, which is, equanimity is not indifference. That's another really important discrimination. And then there's also, well, maybe there is a response that would be helpful. When you said that, I felt, for example, which is different from saying you shouldn't have said that, right? When you said that, it's also an observation. So one thing to reflect on is okay, I get it. I'm feeling angry, annoyed. And by the way, that person really shouldn't have. Oh, now I'm feeling judgmental. And is this the moment when I'm feeling judgmental in this way, which I hear you, to make progress in recognizing that is really important. It's important. And would I be better off, just leaping to the occasion just right away out of the immediacy of my irritation, let's say? Or would it be more effective out of, when I settle down? That might take a few moments, it might take weeks, Would I be more effective in addressing the situation after? In a state of equanimity, you're not ineffective. You're not recognize, yeah, this person really shouldn't. Maybe this person is a bully and they shouldn't be saying what they're saying. And how to express that in a way that's skillful. We're not just a reactivity. Equanimity means becoming a little less reactive and even more discerning. So that's a little tough because sometimes the more discerning we are, the more we see to be annoyed by, It's actually one of the qualities of there's a sharpness of mind associated with anger and hatred, and you really notice all the things that people are doing wrong. And so with equanimity, we are challenged. We take up the challenge of cultivating that level of perspicacity of, oh, this was not right, We know that. We're not dull. We're not indifferent. We're not neutral. We don't say whatever. That's not equanimity. But we pause at the very least to reach a state where we're a little calmer. And it's just something, it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah, thank you. Very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing it up. And, there will be, for those of you who have time, after our meditation, Namgyal Dorje, Harvey there'll be Dharma dialogue, right? So these issues can come up. Okay. So, yeah, as we practice, we can gently have the maybe curiosity about How does this help me recognize my Buddha nature? That's important. Okay. Are we good? There'll be time to talk again later. So for the first part of our practice, as always, we take a moment to settle. And very useful is allowing yourself to sense, to feel the contact that you experience right now, the body of your body with your seat. That's feeling, sensing. That means you're in the present moment. You're not in your head. You're in your body, at least enough to feel how this support is coming to you. You can feel it's coming to you from the center of the earth, which is directly beneath you. In other words, you're connected. You've got ground. The beautiful flowers, the more they're securely rooted in the soil, the more they can open their petals and receive the full light of the sky. So we ground ourselves to begin with so that we can open. And feeling that sense of stability that you are receiving, that sense actually of stability that you receive just by contact with your seat, with the ground. And let that settling energy stabilize you in an easy, comfortable posture. Energy rising through you so that you are upright, but not stiff. Your shoulders are easy. Your jaw is easy. The way you hold your mouth is easy. Accepting your own invitation to be at ease. It's our first step as practitioners in every session. To let go of whatever is potentially a source of tension for you right now. It's like water dripping off, leaves flowing down a stream. You can feel it. Give yourself this time as an oasis from whatever turbulence is in your waters these days. But not right now. The wind is eddying down. The wind is still. Your water is settled. Of course, you're breathing, miraculously breathing. So when you feel you have settled a bit, the mind loves to have an object. Let your mind have your breath, the feeling, the sensation of your breathing occupies your attention. Feel it come in, go down your body. And if you're relaxed, your belly is open. Your belly also puffs out with the energy of your breath that anchors you even more. Then you exhale. We will breathe together for a few minutes. Always gently coming back, ideally without judgment. The mind will flicker elsewhere. You wake up and realize and you bring it back, and you bring it back. So we'll continue like that for a few minutes. Maybe you can feel your waters settle. You can appreciate that. That's not a judgment. And if they're not settled, you can recognize that it's a process. As we settle, we naturally become a little less reactive. A little more evenness is available. A little more affinity for extending kindness to ourselves and to others. In order to extend kindness to others, we really need to have the experience of kindness, or having received kindness ourselves. If life, early life in particular, didn't give us enough of that experience, with the opportunity to nourish that through our practice. Just observing the breath, scientists have said, I think many, many, many meditators have said, gives us over time an increased sense of security, confidence. We exhale, we expect we will inhale, and we do. This is the kind of confidence that we have when we receive love in our life, especially early in life. So take a moment to imagine, to remember, and or to imagine a time when you felt without a doubt that you were offered love and you received it. Not a melodramatic moment. Maybe your mother kindly gave you a bandage after you fell, or a brother or a sister, or a pet comforted you in some way. It can be a very simple moment. Stranger smiled at you when you really needed a smile. Somebody listened to you when you needed to be heard. And feel that that moment, that that person, that that receiving is available now, that this person, this being is in front of you now. And that all around you are loving eyes. That person's, another person's, Buddha's eyes, Bodhisattva's eyes. All the friends you've ever known are standing around you, sending you their love. And take that in on the inhale. It's not just feeling like love, however you understand and experience that as nourishing. Not too much, not too little, just right for you right now, that it's coming in into your breath. It's nourishing you. It's healing wounds. It's refreshing your sense of joy in being in the world. We'll do that for a few minutes. However you experience it, enjoy that. An energy, a color, a sound, tactile sensation. Just let it come in and nourish you. Accepting it. And reflecting that all beings whom you know and whom you don't, all beings everywhere yearn to be nourished by love. And so feeling this nourishment yourself, as it feels comfortable for you. Now on your exhale, send love to a particular person, to a few. Start with one or a few and just exhale good wishes. Maybe without words, just a kind of vibration, color, exhaling, loving intention for their happiness. Meanwhile, the beings around you are still sending you love, so you're constantly being refreshed and renewed. You're not going to wear out, burn out. Love flowing into you constantly, and you are now sending it out to one, two, gradually more and more. I'll do that for a few minutes. Imagine different people receiving what you're sending and starting to glow, starting to feel more nourished, happier. And maybe expanding it to whole nations, whole areas of this globe, the earth itself, at your own pace in a way that feels right for you. Ultimately, including everyone who needs your help. And one more minute. And take a minute to let go of practice as such and just let yourself digest whatever your experience was. Maybe you'd like to take a note or two before we move on. Take another minute. Does something change in your experience from the beginning to now? It's worth noting if it did. Maybe it got worse, but we're not static creatures. Maybe you noticed something. So we'll continue with Lama Namgyal with our two-tone Sunday meditation, and more breathing, introducing sound, and then there'll be another pause at noon, and he will guide a Dharma conversation. For those of you who weren't here for the 10:30 talk, it's on YouTube, or it will be shortly. So we invite you, if you'd like to look at that, because that may feed into the conversation. If there's anyone who would like to make a brief comment about our practice that we just did. Louise, okay.
I just really appreciated the way you laid it out, which was emphasizing the abundance within ourselves, to be able to give this sense of loving kindness out, to first feel a tremendous abundance of it within. And that was really helpful, because I think sometimes in my mind, it can be a sense of, don't take it yourself, give it to them. And you don't, you're deprived, but you give it away to them. And that's really
Exactly
what's the excellent way to be. And this is very different. And I really appreciated that.
Wonderful. Thank you for mentioning it. It's very significant.
Yeah.
Thank you. And more about that perhaps later in the conversation. It just felt like somebody might have something to say. So thank you. You good? Okay. Lama Namgyal Dorje.
Wait, we've got another hand.
What?
Shelley is.
Oh, Shelley.
Hi, this is my first time joining this community. Really appreciate and I love the meditation. And I usually join those Chinese meditation group, and then they do those holy silent meditation and not really use those instruction a lot. Actually, previously, David's question really resonate with me. And I also had those questions before. Why it seems someone just offends some people, those innocent people, and then we have to have some judgmental ideas. But as I learned recently from Kempo Sonnen, and we're also learning the entering the way of Bodhisattva, that text, then he just told me that's still my troubled mind. If I feel angry or any of those negative emotions, then I should still give the blessings to the people. Maybe they are just doing something not that correct, but they might have some empathetic things. And then now I think we were taught to chant Om Mani Padme Hum and then always just give those blessings to those people. And even though previously I just thought I'm person really love those justice and the rightful things. But now I think as a Buddhist practitioner, then just always those loving kindness, even for the so-called enemy or some annoying people, then you always give those blessings to them and then hope they can be happy. Sometimes they might not be that happy, so that's why they do. And also I think from that text, then also may be rooted in our culture, then we know those karma things. Maybe some people, they really annoy you and make you feel upset a lot. Then maybe you can just repent on something. Maybe in earlier this life or our previous life, we did something. So that's, paid back. So in this way, that will make me maybe feel a little better. And then that's also a very good opportunity to practice our tolerance. Just keep our calm mind and keep compassionate. So that's my thoughts. Thank you.
Yes, very beautiful. Definitely, definitely. We don't, everybody, and Shantideva says this too, the whole tradition says it. When we act badly, when other people act badly, it's just ignorance. It's just not knowing. It's like being a young child who hasn't learned yet. So yes, we can have sympathy, send them our good wishes, our blessings. And at the same time, and maybe this is more a Western culture, wisdom, we don't deny what we actually feel, like what David was saying. That's also, I think, important from the perspective. We neither deny it nor do we let it totally govern how we behave. That's a middle way, right? You might feel angry, but like Kimba Sunam said, like Shantideva says, like the whole tradition says, that's why we cultivate equanimity. So we don't become reactive. And no matter how they behave, we wish them well. We wish them, as you're saying, we send our blessings. And we also recognize that this person is not somebody that I will, invite into my house. I will be careful, but I will still wish them complete awakening. Tsongkhapa actually, and Lamrim Chenmo makes a very important, very strong, clear statement about that. Being equanimous doesn't mean we're dull or indifferent, too wrong, or indifferent to what the person may still, in fact, be somebody who's not our friend, and we can recognize that, but that doesn't change our heart wish for them. So yeah, what you're saying is very important. Thank you, Jiali. It's very nice to have you here. Thank you for
Lama,
coming.
can I just add one more sentence? And also from what I recently learned, and we always keep our loving awareness. So we still have those maybe mundane, judgmental ideas, but just like you said before, that is not me, and not to be personalized. And then we still have our loving awareness to all those, even those judgmental thoughts, emotions in this worldly
Exactly.
idea.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. Very important. Very important. Okay, so now a little time for practice. No.
So we just have a few minutes left. We'll start with mindfulness of the breath, which allows us to just settle our attention and actually provides us with many qualities of mind that Anne was alluding to that allow us to feel fuller and able to be positive towards others. So we sit straight. You can be on the floor if that's comfortable. You can be on a chair if that's best for you right now. You can have your eyes closed or eyes slightly open, but not focused. And just allow your attention to be first settled on the breath and then settled into the process of breathing. So whether it be at the nostrils or the throat or the lungs, or some find it very comfortable to be in the belly, just below the navel. Chinese, it's the Dangtian, and Japanese, it's the Hara. Place your attention on the process of breathing and then settle into that process, allowing that process to become the total focus of your attention. And if there are thoughts or feelings or memories, just let them come and go. Don't fight them, just let go of them. And if you notice that you've gotten completely absorbed or lost, just gently bring your attention back to where you're attending to the breath. Place your attention there and then settle into the full experience of the breathing. And gently allow your attention to return to our shared space. We have accustomed to share the benefit, the merit of everything we've done together this morning. With a simple prayer. So if there are some people who are sick that you know, or who have recently passed, are in the bardo, if you want to put their name in the chat, just give a few moments for people to type names into the chat if you like. And if you haven't had a moment to do it, and as we're reading it, if you wish to just say the name out loud to yourself of people who are of concern, that is also. So we'll start with our blessing prayer. With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity by the glow of love wisdom. May the glow of love wisdom shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandala. Today, we are holding in mind Patricia Ann Sheets in the bardo, Egan Sisters in the bardo, Soldiers, Lucy McDonough in the bardo, prayers for Elizabeth Ann in the bardo, Michael Lyons in the bardo, Jamie Monson, Anthony Larson, Soleil Legs, Rachel Zabrowski in the bardo. For all those anxious, fearful, or sad, John McDermott in the bardo, Nero McIntosh, anyone experiencing anxiety, all Russians and Ukrainians, all in hunger and financial difficulties. Jikin Lin in the bardo. We will do an ah, one ah, which is taking our love and compassion, sharing it with ourselves, everyone here, and everyone throughout space, after which we'll have a few announcements if they're available. Otherwise, we'll ad lib.
Ah.
Gary, do you happen to be aware of the announceables? If not, I'll ad lib.
Afraid ad lib is what's on the menu.
Okay, ad lib, here we go. So we will have our first and third Tuesday Dharma explorations this coming Tuesday. We will have a Dharma exploration. The big news is that on May 9th through 15th, we have a retreat on compassion and Dzogchen based on a treasure from Adzom Rinpoche. Those who are interested could submit an application on the website for the Dzogchen Cycles program. It just allows us to know who you are a little bit. We would still take late applications. It's a beautiful practice, rich in both Dzogchen and compassion. There may be some other things coming up in May for which you would need to look at our website, and they will be on our website. But having said all that, it's just lovely to see all of you. And we will meet at 12 noon Central Time in just a few minutes. We have a Dharma conversation at that point, which is, we just have an opportunity to talk about, in small groups, usually of 2 or 3, of some topic that will come up. I probably will frame the conversation today in terms of self-compassion. That seemed to be part of what was being discussed. I'll give a very, very short little mini lecturette on self-compassion, and then we'll break up into rooms and talk about just how it is in our life to work with our own compassion towards ourselves as a basis for compassion towards others. So yeah, we'll take about a 5-minute break and be back at 12 noon, unless there are any questions. Any questions at all? If not, again, lovely to see everybody, and we'll look forward to those who will join us for the Dharma conversation at 12 noon Central Time. Take care, everyone.